Hey, it's your girl, Nycci Nellis, with another episode of Industry Night. I am at an interesting location, but I think it all makes sense if you think about it. So I'm in the Equinox Sports Club here in the City Ridge development. As you know, I've been doing several shows in the City Ridge development over the last couple months. It's such an amazing area. There's so much here. You know, they have Tate Bakery and Wegmans and Taco Bamba and of course Agua Azteca. And if you didn't know, now you do, they have this gorgeous Equinox facility. And I have to be honest, it's been a minute since I've been in like a full-fledged gym. I have my own little things that I do, but being here today, getting the tour, seeing all the ways to have wellness in your life here makes so much sense to me. They may have gotten a new member. And the reason why being an Equinox makes so much sense for who my guest is today is because it is none other than heavily awarded and well-deserved chef Susan Bae. She is the pastry chef and partner over at Moon Rabbit. She just became a semi-finalist again for the James Beard Award. She's been a finalist twice. And then she got some crazy award from World's 50 Best. World's 50 Best now has a North American segment or awards, and she got Best Pastry Chef in all of North America. So, you know, that's how she lives. Anyway, we have such an amazing conversation today. I can't wait for you to sit down because she is incredibly intentional when it comes to the people that she surrounds herself with, what she puts on the plate, and how she mentors others, given how crazy the times are right now. So let's get into it with Susan Bae. And then later in the show, I talk with Eve Vieira. She is the general manager here at Equinox. And she's going to explain all the reasons why we should be working out here. Let's get into it. Let me just do that last bit again. Okay. She's going to tell us about all the ways we should be working out here, not just for our physical health, but our mental health too. All right, let's get into the next episode of Industry Night. Okay, so now on to pastry chef Susan Bae. As I mentioned in the intro, I've known her for quite some time. She is the executive pastry chef and founding partner, which I did not know until I read your bio, at Moon Rabbit. Recently, girls strutted her tush down the aisle where she was the North America's Best Pastry Chef 2025 for World 50's Best North America, which is amazing. She is a 2-time James Beard finalist, and right now she's a semi-finalist. Besides all the accolades, she is one of the most thoughtful and interesting people that I know, and especially in the culinary space right now. And I'm so excited to have her with me today. So, Chef Susan Bae, thank you for joining me. So, I actually had you on the show like a year and a half ago, right when Moon Rabbit was reopening, if you will. And I was really talking to all of you, you know, the whole team, with T and Kevin, but we really didn't get to focus on everybody individually. So I'm so excited today that we could sort of have this conversation.
As am I. Happy to be here.
Thank you. I would love to know, for people, like, I feel like your story has been out there because you have an amazing publicist. But what I would like to know, let's start at your beginning, because you grew up in LA, you're a first generation. Let's talk a little bit about what that was like for you.
Ooh, it was, man, LA and California is home for me, for sure. It was tough. I think, you know, I don't come from, I was not privileged, right? My parents were immigrants. It was really tough. You know, they would struggle often trying to get food on the table. You know, they try to get me in the best, you know, neighborhoods to schools. Even to get me into culinary school was kind of like a reach for them. Okay. And so I think
when were they on board with you going to culinary school?
Oh my gosh, not in the beginning. Absolutely. Absolutely not in the beginning.
As a first generation, I would assume they would want you to be
doctor,
a physician or
lawyer.
a lawyer.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Right?
You know, I'm not smart enough to be a lawyer. I'm gonna say this
It's
right
not about
away.
intelligence.
But
My sister's a lawyer.
oh, amazing! Did not know that. So I chose, okay, I'm gonna be a teacher.
Okay.
And so I went to college. I went to Cal State to get a, teacher's degree, and then, last year, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think this is gonna be the best. I don't know if this is something that I enjoy. And I said,
But think about the foundation that gave you,
Oh,
given
absolutely.
your role now.
absolutely,
right?
yeah, it definitely played a role in me wanting to mentor and teach. I think it built that foundation for me, and it worked out because now I'm a chef and I get to do that with my team. So there is that. But initially,
No.
no.
Okay, and so you decided to go to culinary school. Were you already cooking at home? Was cooking a part of your life? Where did the switch come from?
The switch came from, I don't think it was more of a switch. I think it was always there.
Okay.
So I always baked at home for fun, for friends, for my family, my dad, and I think that passion just kind of exploded. It was
But
just
did you like it? Like, were you a sweets eater? Like, why baking specifically? Because, I loved to bake and cook growing up. And, my girlfriend and I at 13 would, host dinner parties for our friends, making things that we absolutely had no idea how to make. But I like desserts because I like to eat them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have a sweet tooth.
Totally understandable.
Okay.
I mean, I wish I could say that. Surprisingly, I don't enjoy eating dessert.
Okay.
Yeah, but what I really love about it is I think the baking, the science and the precision behind it. I was just so drawn to it, and kind of being somewhat of a perfectionist to some degree. I'm like, I just got to nail it, and so that passion into getting it right, like nailing the perfect macaron, I was like, I'm hooked.
Okay.
And,
Macarons are really tough.
it's so hard.
They're so hard. I know they're sort of prolific right now, like they're everywhere. And
Yeah.
every time I see them, I'm like, nobody knows how hard those are to make.
Yes, exactly. And then on top of that, everybody loves desserts, and
True.
just giving to my friends, family members, whoever it was, just lit them up, and really kind of. I loved it. I loved making them happy, and so I think that paired with the precision of it, I was like, this is my passion. This is kind of what I want to do.
And when you went to cooking school, you went specifically for baking.
Correct. Yeah.
When you got out, were there things you learned there that you were like, oh, interesting?
Definitely. I think most of that stuff was more just honing in, but truly, most of the techniques I learned and all of that stuff came from all the restaurants that I've worked at, all the bakeries that I've worked at.
Was there somewhere you wanted to stage at? Was there somebody you wanted to train under in the early days?
Yes.
Okay, and?
It was, well, there's two. Elizabeth Faulkner was one of them, and then Jordan Kahn.
Okay.
Yeah, so those two were like my
North stars.
Yes, I was like, so inspirational. I love the work that they were doing, and I was like, these are the people I strive to be like, and I think that those things kind of played out into the kind of food I make today.
Sure.
But yeah, definitely.
Well, I love that there's been such a tremendous shift in baked goods and desserts in the last 15 years.
Yes.
And I hate to pinpoint the cupcake trend as part of the explosion.
Yes.
But there is a dramatic shift in what we see bakery-wise, not just locally, but nationally, and what we see on the plate now as well. When I think about some of the prolific, and how many bakeries are around right now.
Right.
I mean, there's one right across the street here on City Ridge. I mean, but years ago, there was barely any bakeries. There certainly weren't a lot of bread shops.
Yeah.
And dessert was kind of, even if there was a great pastry chef, flourless chocolate cake, I mean, delicious, don't get me wrong.
Sorbets, ice cream,
creme
yeah,
brulee,
creme brulee.
things of that nature. There just wasn't as much, let's do something unique here. Where do you think that shift came from?
I think chefs just wanted to be creative, right? I think, same thing with food, and just savory food in general. I feel, yes, we can make it this way because this is what it is. But at the same time, I think a lot of chefs and restaurants want to separate from what everything else is, right? And so their creativity kind of fuels their yearning to do something different, and it sets them apart, right? And I think that is inspiring. And then all the other chefs and restaurants kind of played off of each other, and it just kind of exploded. And people are like, okay, we're doing what we think, and kind of creating food based on their own creations and identity and their mindset.
But also what they want to see on the plate. You know, you always hear about people who say, you know, I want to see myself on TV, I want to see myself in films, I want to see myself behind the kitchen. You know, what that means for people.
Absolutely.
Who was that for you?
Who was that for me? As in who was the person who like fueled me to
create?
There are many chefs and mentors, but I think it's honestly, it's my dad. Hands down, my dad, no matter what.
I love that. Why? What is it about your father? I feel like I need to meet him.
No, well, my dad has passed.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but
I can't meet him.
But you know, he was always creative, even though he worked very hard, and he would still allow himself time to have fun and explore his childlike wonder, and he loved creating random things too. He was very big on makeshift, and I think that inspired me. I think just growing up with a father like that, who's just like constantly wanting to like create things for a purpose. Yeah, he's my inspiration.
And with that in mind, you were very creative when it came to joining up with Kevin. Can we talk about how that partnership began?
Oh my God. People always laugh about this. He actually slid into my Instagram DMs.
Okay, that is like...
not in a creepy way.
Creepy sounding. Go ahead.
Not in a creepy way at all. He was actually... We followed each other for a very long time. I think.
Where were you at that point?
I was at Cali in California.
Okay.
And he was...
and what were you doing at Cali?
So I was the pastry chef there.
Right, but were you executing the same kind of desserts that you were doing now, or were you just in the beginning stages of that?
I was executing, yes. I was executing, running the pastry program. I would say it was like my first big pastry chef role, though. And so I was really getting my footing into the industry. Before that, I was just like a cook or, you know, like a commis or whatever it may be. That was my first real serious pastry chef job, I'd say. And we connected through Instagram, social media. He was opening up Himitsu at the time. We followed each other. We would support each other through Instagram. And then one day he reached out and he was like, hey, I'm opening up a restaurant called Moon Rabbit. And I've followed you for a while. I've heard wonderful things. Would you like to be my pastry chef? And I said, oh, I don't love DC so much, but but you know, I'm willing to do it.
But you had already been in DC.
I had, yeah, and you know, it's so cold. It's so different from California. I love DC now.
Just don't give me. I don't belong here either. Just to be clear, and I'm from New Jersey.
Yes.
So
I love DC now, and at the time I was like, you know, I don't know, but Kevin's like, please, and I was like, okay. Do you need me to come stage? Do you need me to do a tasting? Anything along those lines? He said, no, like full trust. Like just come over.
And had he had your food? He just trusted you?
Never. It was just like a full leap of faith. And I think that was the thing that really made me say, okay, this person trusts me, and therefore I want to do right by this person. And I think there's that level of trust, because I had not experienced that through my career. They're like, come in and do a tasting. Stage. Nothing like that. He was like, just come. And I was like, okay, let's do it.
So what did he present to you, and how did you come up with the menu that you wanted to serve? Because what's going on at Moon Rabbit, and it's ever evolving, don't get me wrong.
Correct.
But I hate to call it non-traditional, because then it sounds like it's not traditional. But when you read the dishes on the menu, the uninitiated are kind of like, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Correct.
Like, what's happening here?
Correct.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
and I say that with all the love.
Oh no, I totally understand. But what do you call it? Can we say progressive? I don't know. I don't want to put a label on it.
Let's not label it.
Yeah. But he, surprisingly, when I first started with him, he put his full trust, again, no real like guidance. He just said, hey, I know you've done Vietnamese desserts before. Let's just come up with some things. And I tried 2 or 3 things, didn't work out. And I said, what about this and this and this? And he was just like, all right. And then after that, even at the old location, he was very much, go ahead and do your thing.
Okay, but can we, for people who weren't at the old location, what did that look like on the plate? And for people who maybe aren't clear on what a Vietnamese dessert would be, like a traditional Vietnamese dessert, what were you starting with? And then how were you making it yours?
So the very first dessert was a bun flan, which is a flan. And we put a coffee foam on it, chocolate streusel. I would say that's the most simplest dessert I've ever created at Moon Rabbit. So it started off easing into it, and then we switched over to seasonal ingredients. And from there, you know, we incorporate Vietnamese flavors. So it would be lemongrass, you know, all the aromatics, the spices, and that would get introduced into the dish. So it would be the seasonal item, and then the spices that are prevalent in the culture. And so then we would create something from there.
And were you fluent in the flavors of Vietnamese cooking?
I wouldn't say fluent because I'm Korean.
Right, I know, that's why I'm asking.
Exactly. But I learned throughout my career. Actually, my very first job, I worked at a Southeast Asian restaurant. So we worked with a lot of Southeast Asian flavors. So I knew a little bit, and I had like a solid foundation, but I'm still learning.
Of course.
I'm still learning.
But I'm wondering if was there a flavor, like you said lemongrass, but was there a flavor or product that you like tasted and you were like, did you ever are you watching that show, Drops of God?
No, I'm not.
Oh my God, you have to watch it. It's so good. But when she drinks wine, over her head, it's like anime above her, and it's like you see the things that she's tasting.
It's like Ratatouille. Like in Ratatouille, you know
so
what
I've seen Ratatouille. Okay, we both have
it's like all the colors. Yes, definitely. I would say the one ingredient was lime leaf for me.
Lime leaf. And when I think of lime leaf, I don't think of much.
Oh man, it's so fragrant, and you can incorporate it into anything. It doesn't quite taste.
It doesn't have
acidic,
taste. Right?
Yeah, it's not like acidic, but it's the aroma, right? And you would be surprised because it makes such an impact on food, the aroma of something. And I think I just got hooked. I was like, oh, lime leaf, I still love it. It's my favorite ingredient.
Well, so let's talk about some of your desserts. My Vietnamese is not on par.
Me too.
Okay, great. So. But you really are using sort of the diaspora of Vietnam, and then you're also pulling a little bit from your experiences and your own Korean heritage.
Correct.
So let's talk about some of those desserts that are on the plate. Like for example, you use durian. Most people don't know it, and for some reason it's controversial, and I don't understand why. Like, isn't it just a fruit?
It's not this. I mean, it is a fruit, yes. Have you had like durian fruit though, just by itself?
I don't think so. I think I've only had your dessert.
I don't know. It's so it's very pungent.
Okay.
I personally myself do not like durian.
Okay.
I cannot. I can't
what
just
is
eat the
its
fruit.
Texture? Like what does it look like?
So it comes in this like big. There's little pieces of fruit within the flesh of it, and it's spiky, almost like jackfruit. Do you know the jackfruit? It's like spiky.
Yes.
You pull out.
They want to make jackfruit like it's like a protein. I'm always like, it's not a protein.
This is not.
Can we just move on? Thank you. Go ahead.
But it's like it's soft. It's mushy. But the initial scent of the durian is so punchy and pungent. It almost smells like gasoline mixed with like alliums. And you can almost taste it because you're inhaling it as you're taking it in. Okay. There's a very mellow and subtle flavor of like vanilla and custard. The texture is very custardy. And that's what people love about it.
Right, because the texture is custardy. So are you able to use the product because of the texture, but is it like chicken, it takes on other flavors?
It can, yes, it can, but not very many things work with it, right? But I don't want to take away from that flavor because it's so good beneath the stench. But
so do you accentuate the vanilla? Like, is that what you do?
Yeah, so we mellow down the scent of it so that you just pick up on the flavor. And I do that with white chocolate.
Okay.
Because it really just kind of tempers and mellows it down. We cook it. Kitchen stinks every time we do it, but you know.
You do have a big kitchen, though.
Yes, we're very lucky. Yeah,
It's a gorgeous kitchen.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk about how that kitchen has changed for you, because you have quite a large staff. They're mostly women. Was that intentional? Can we talk about sort of that business model of how, since he trusted you, not just to put the desserts on the menu and then the desserts on the plate, but he also trusted you to manage, which I think goes back to your teaching days, or not teaching days, but the foundations for it. How were you able to be really intentional about what you did there? Because I know when I go to Moon Rabbit and I see your area and I see who's working there, it's amazing.
They're the best. Oh my God, they're the best. Yeah, I intentionally wanted a female team, like all female team. And again, but that was just, you know, I've been in many kitchens for, God, I don't even want to say how long, but throughout my entire career. And it was tough being a woman in the kitchen. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to lie about that. You know, there's a lot of gender bias within our industry.
And I'm sure being an Asian woman did not
Correct.
help.
Being a minority as well. And so I went in with the full intention of creating a team where we could be collaborative and supportive, right? Because having a female friend outside of the industry is one thing, but if you're able to have that connection with another female who is within that realm with you, it's like the support is insane.
You need a brain trust.
Exactly.
I totally get that.
Yeah, and you know, it's still the best decision I've ever made at this junction in my life, I think, because I see them and they are very supportive and collaborative, and they're able to lean on each other and then also have a relationship outside of work as well.
Which is also great.
Yeah.
But how do you work with that ecosystem, allow their creativity? Because initially they're replicating for you. And I think it's important for people to know that, you know, what's on the menu is not all, you know, the couple of desserts that are on there is not all that you have going on.
No.
Because a lot of times I've been in the restaurant and I'm like, where is that? Right? And you're like, oh, I'm doing this event. Or you made a gorgeous cake. You know, I think of like what you did for Chefs for Equality. So you're doing lots of other things.
Yes.
Is that avenues for them to come to the table with ideas?
Absolutely. So I always give them the opportunity, hey, if you have any ideas, let's brainstorm together. They have created some desserts, so they'll start off with the smaller ones. Right now, all of the petit fours, all the minier D's, all of like the celebration stuff on the menu, or technically not on the menu, but still served in the restaurant. They have created those.
What about the bread?
And the bread, yes. So
is that you?
It's it's so let's start. Okay, so Kevin has an idea.
Okay.
And then it starts with his idea. He goes, I don't know how you're going to do it, but can you make this happen? And so we take that idea, we turn it into form, and then usually it's me, but I always have my Sue, and then my other cooks chime in and be like, how can we make this better? Okay. Yeah, and so I would say everything on pastry end is collaborative to some degree. Yeah.
I love that bread. It's delicious.
Okay.
I mean, but the problem is that once you eat like one, then you want the other one, and then you're like, I'm not really hungry for the rest of the meal, but it is really yummy.
So you just pack it up, take it home. Yeah. You know, we'll pack it up for you every time.
One of your desserts, it's the one that I can't pronounce, but it's the one that you're most famous for.
The green curry.
Yes. Can we talk about that? Because everything about what it sounds like on the menu does not sound like a dessert. So what was the creation, what was your inspiration for that? And then how, like, everybody who eats it is like, oh, that is so not what I was expecting. Yeah. Even visually, because it's beautiful, but it's a real trompe l'oeil. Yeah. You know, it totally tricks the eye. Your eye tells you that this is not going to be sweet, right? And that the textures are going to be different. And then you put it in your mouth, right? You put it in your mouth, and everything commingles in a totally different way. Right. So can we talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. So that was at the old Moon Rabbit, and I was just like, I want to create something new. It didn't get the opportunity to make an appearance on the menu there, but I was actually spitballing with another pastry chef in LA. We were just on the phone catching up. I was like, I want to create something different. He's like, that's when like the monochromatic desserts were all the rage, and so I was like, all green. We want all green. Started there, and then he was like, wouldn't it be fun if like you did a green curry, like dessert? And I was like, you know what, that sounds amazing. And so, again, I can't take full credit for every single thing because it's always collaborative for me, right? And he was like, here's an idea. What do you think of it? And I'm like, I love it. I'm like, this is how we're going to do it. So I was like, I want all the aromatics from a green curry. I'm going to infuse it in an oil, put it into a cake, and then from there I'm going to mimic all of the components of a green curry, whether that's like the creaminess, the texture, the flavors. And we're just going to throw it and make it happen. So this entire process, as I was building the dessert, I was actually huddling with Kevin as well, which is what I always do. He's
That's
like,
so nice that you have this, I hate to use the word collaborative again, but you rely so much on
support
each other.
Absolutely.
Both of you.
Yeah, even Judy. I would say everybody in the restaurant, we always come to each other. Even T in the restaurant too. She's like, hey, your dessert inspired me. What do you think of this? Taste this. Does this work? And we spitball and bounce off of each other all the time. So again, we're very fortunate to be inspired by each other and supported. But yeah, all these components started coming together, and then Kevin's final piece was like, this needs fish sauce. To make it curry. And I was like, you're absolutely right.
So how do you bring something so unctuous like fish sauce to a dessert?
We made a caramel out of it. And so fish sauce is really punchy, but that umami, it just rounds it out.
Right.
And you can't.
It's always that flavor in there where you're like, what
is this? Yes, exactly.
It's like on the tip of your tongue. You're like, I know it.
Exactly. And you know, I was like, well, that's wild. Let's do it. And so I was like, I'm gonna make a caramel. We're gonna toss it in there and see how it tastes. And we took like a bite together. Which, by the way, he has not retasted that dessert since then.
Really?
Yes. But we tasted it. We're like,
well, because he takes one look and he's like, is good.
Yeah. And it was like, that's it. And we're like, great. And we're like, this is gonna be like our baby. And again, because we weren't able to roll it out at the restaurant then, we rolled it out at the new spot, and it kind of just took off. So it's like our dessert baby. And
do you feel that you're able to continue growing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, within Moon Rabbit.
Yeah, within Moon Rabbit, within that program, because like that dessert, for example, is like a standard bearer now for the restaurant. But do you feel constricted to keep certain things on the menu?
Oh, absolutely. So like the green curry, the durian, and the seaweed, it's like always like permanently going to be on the menu.
Permanent.
Yeah, and then we have the 2 rotating seasonal desserts. So we have a pretty extensive pastry menu for a single restaurant. We have like 5 desserts plus like special occasion dessert.
You actually have an extensive pastry program for a single restaurant.
Yeah.
I mean, just given the times and what's happening.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. But we have the 2 seasonal, and those rotate. But the 3 standards, it's like people ask for it, and you know, now that it's gained so much traction, we kind of just, these are our staples, and then these 2 are the seasonal ones you can swap out.
I'd like to switch tracks just a little bit. You know, you've gotten a lot of well-deserved accolades. I mean, the World's 50 Best thing is just like mind-blowing, right?
Yes.
And you know, your James Baird acknowledgements and just who and what you are, you know, nationally and probably internationally, but who knows you and the collaborations you do. How do you manage that, given all the, how do you manage that with all the goodwill that you want to put out there? You're very, leadership and being a leader is important to you. Recognizing mental health and dealing with mental health is important to you. Being there for others. Yeah. How do you sort of take where you are and continue to grow? And I think we were talking about this before the show. You know, some doors you kicked down, some doors were open for you.
Yeah.
How do you change that narrative going forward for others?
Yeah, it's exactly like how I spoke to you earlier, right? It's like being a daughter of an immigrant. You're just more and more aware of the fact that opportunities come from accessibility and mentorship. And that's something that I've learned personally throughout my career. I don't have the answers to how to balance all of these things.
But is it stressful for you?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, I mean, like the good and the bad of being so well recognized has a dark side.
Absolutely. Mental health, focusing on mental health. Yeah, absolutely. And also running a business, right? You see, okay, how can we sustain the business but also care about all of our people? How do we contribute or be a part of the community as well? All of these things. I'm not going to lie to you. The past 2 years have taught me, different ways of getting through it. First year, rough. Second year, a little bit of integration. Third year here, I want full integration of how to be more balanced in how to juggle all of these things, personal and for the benefit of the restaurant and the people within our space. It's tough. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Well, I think it's a process.
Yeah.
Who you are now isn't who you are 5 years from now. So what works for you at this moment may not work for you in the future.
Absolutely.
But I think if you're aware of it and you're intentional, then you can keep focus on it. You know, I think the people who struggle the most are the people who are like don't want to look in the mirror and see what's happening for themselves. So I totally appreciate that.
Yeah.
Given what's happening here in DC and nationally as well, I mean that has to be very hard on. I mean, it's hard on everybody's mental health.
Yeah.
But especially in the hospitality, in a restaurant.
Right.
How are you dealing with it, first and foremost? And then how are you being supportive to your staff who is also dealing with it?
It's extremely stressful, and it's definitely hitting very close to home. I think, I stress about it all the time. It doesn't shut off for me, right? Because these are our people, we care about them. We want them to feel protected, cared for. It never shuts off, but I do what I can to the best of my abilities. We find them the resources. We connect them with whoever. We have a lawyer, an immigration lawyer we connect them with to help. It's just scary. And I think this is what, segues into what we talked about earlier is I wish there was a way, and I would like to find ways to be more of a pipeline for direct impact, right, to some degree, because yes, it's making me realize more and more these are people, these are family, and these are people we care about, and this is what I could do here, but what about everybody else?
Right.
What about everything else? And again, it's very stressful. I try my best to the best of my abilities, but the fear, I don't think, just being brutally honest, having a one-on-one conversation with you, it does not go away, for me at least, personally. But you kind of have to hold it down for the team.
Of course.
And I think, being a leader means you have to be strong for the team. And while I can sense it can be very hard for everybody, what can I do to help alleviate their day even, right? I can't make it go away. But what can I do as a leader to help make it easier?
Well, that's what leadership is, right?
Yeah.
Leadership is recognizing, first of all, you can be transparent. I feel like this is hard for me too, but I'm
trying my best.
I'm trying my best.
Yes.
Well, I really believe everybody deserves, not everybody, I'm going to take that back. I believe that most people deserve a little bit of grace.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that in these times it's really hard to give it because we're so sure that they're either thinking about, we're so sure everybody is thinking of everybody else when really everybody's just thinking about themselves.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So I have conversations with people where I'm like, let's just tamp it down a little bit.
Yes.
Let's just turn it down. Let's turn down the temperature. I'm pretty sure that person didn't even see you.
Exactly. Give others the benefit of the doubt, because I think in this current time, we can all use some, right?
Yes.
Let's just show each other some grace. This is exactly what I've told my team.
Okay.
As well, too. It's not everything that happens is on purpose.
Yes.
Some things are out of control, and not everything is malicious or whatever it may be, right? And
Right.
I think everybody needs grace right now.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it's a hard thing to keep in your mind.
Yeah.
You know, it really is.
Yeah.
So what are we excited about? What is coming up that you're like, that you can tell me that you're, you know, because I follow you on the gram. You're traveling a lot.
Yes.
You're doing some, I mean, it looks like you're taking care of yourself mentally.
Yes.
And going to some pretty lovely places.
Yes.
But what is that about? Are we getting education? Are we just taking it easy? How are you growing, and what does that look like for the future?
I am growing by further educating myself on how to be a better leader. I'm actually going to take more courses to expand my personal knowledge, and then we're gonna go take some classes for pastry, because knowledge is limitless for me.
And it's always changing.
Always changing.
New techniques, new ways of doing things.
And all these stabilizers and chemicals that they have out now, no idea.
Right.
I don't know every single one of them, and I just love learning. And so I genuinely do believe that there's no such thing as the best, because there is always somebody who can teach you something else, right?
Absolutely.
And so I'm always hungry for that. So I'm taking some classes for work, taking some time for myself to focus on my own mental health, to be a better, stabilizing structure for our people. And then we have some projects coming up. So that should be exciting.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
So 2026 should be a great year.
I hope so.
Right?
We could use a great year.
We can use a great year. I agree. Susan Bae, thank you so much for joining me today. I always love chatting with you.
I love chatting with you.
Thank you so
Nycci.
much.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
I'm sitting here with Eve Ferreira here at the gorgeous Equinox Club in the City Ridge development. And I have to be honest, I haven't set foot in a gym facility in well over 10 years. And I got this gorgeous tour here today. And I am so totally blown away about how gym clubs have changed, and what Equinox is doing is amazing. So thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
She's
absolutely.
the general manager here, so she hosted the show today, which was so generous of you. Let's talk a little bit about you first. Have you always been into fitness?
Yeah, since I was very little. I actually started as a competitive baton twirler.
Okay.
Yes, and I was pretty good. I won a few titles. That was from when I was 7 till 12. I started dance when I was probably 3 to 5. But baton really took my heart. I got very into it, won my awards. And then when I was probably in about going into middle school, I got much more into dance.
Okay.
Really pivoted to ballet. Don't know why it stole my heart, but it did. And then I just kept it going all the way through college. And then I was lucky enough to audition for Joffrey Ballet School, and then I got accepted.
Which is amazing.
Yes. And so I ended up going there in my 20s in New York City.
Wow. And at what point, because that's such a grueling profession.
Yeah.
But at what point were you starting to realize that you wanted fitness as a part of your life?
Sure. So even when I was dancing ballet specifically, teenage years, being in the gym was a part of it.
Okay.
So it was still doing actual gym workouts in college, same thing. That was part of the curriculum. So I was always familiar with being in a gym setting. And then once I made the decision to, go back to school in my early 20s and kind of pivot away from dance as a profession, I couldn't just quit cold turkey with movement.
Sure.
So it was really easy to just pivot into, okay, I'm going to go to a gym, I'm going to work out. And then as I got a little older, I started noticing boutiques are popping up with specialized workouts. Those were really fun to get into. And so I just started really integrating that into my life, and it's just kind of taken off from there.
Well, let's talk about the Equinox brand, because
Sure.
when I think of Equinox, the first Equinox I actually went to was in LA.
Okay.
Probably 20 years ago, maybe, probably 20 years ago.
Oh, it's
and
incredible.
it had this really sexy vibe,
Oh, yeah.
everything about it was this luxury experience.
Yes.
And in the intervening 20 years, as far as gyms, and you talk about these boutique classes, like
Sure.
there are lots of ways to work out, right?
Definitely.
And there's so many places to go to work out. So now that we're here in 2026 and we're at this really brand new facility here in the City Ridge development, what are you all offering here? How do you explain what you're doing here?
Sure. So why I love Equinox and why I also got specifically into this brand is because there's a very holistic approach to what we're offering as far as fitness. It's movement. It's actually obviously like strength training, group fitness classes, but then it's regeneration. How are you recovering? We have options and we've made different plans for members to actually be able to recover properly. It's also nutrition, right? We've decided to invest into our coaches to get constant certifications so they can speak to nutrition.
Well, let's talk about this because that what I thought was really interesting. I mean, we're downstairs right now. You've got a little cafe over here. We got the kids club behind us, and then upstairs is like the gym.
Yeah.
But there's all these different quadrants of it, and there's a whole aesthetic to it. How can you explain? I don't have the words to explain that aesthetic since you work here. Why don't you talk me through it?
So, do you mean the aesthetic of the actual physical space?
Yes.
Yeah. So, first and foremost, anytime you come into a club, it's going to be pristine and clean. We have a maintenance team that works around the clock, making sure everything is set and obviously gorgeous. And then we have different pillars. So, I think the actual arc of Equinox is movement, nutrition, regeneration, and then community.
Okay.
So those are the pillars of what we offer. And so when you come into a club, you're going to see that everywhere, if that makes sense. So yes, for movement, you're going to see our gorgeous second floor fitness, where we have group fitness studios, we have the actual fitness floor, and then you're going to have an in-house spa that we offer for regeneration. We're going to have our expert coaches that we consistently train for those expertise for nutrition, hitting your specific results. And then community, we create spaces that you can actually come and chat and relax and feel like you want to stay here for hours. We have the kids club, so if you need assistance, especially for mothers or parents, you're able to come in, book a reservation with us, 2 hours, and then hang in the space. We have members who do work here, so
it's like you can just come and hang out all day.
It's designed for you to be here all day long.
So you've mentioned community a couple of times.
Yeah.
How, given here at the City Ridge development, where there's all these people who live here, work, live, play, I like to say.
Yeah.
And you've got all these restaurants and Wegmans. How does Equinox, a health club, become a part of the community?
Yeah, definitely. So we do community events. We do them about twice every month. It's been a really big commitment that I've upheld to. We want to be able to offer free fitness to the community and understand what we as a brand are offering you. So we do it we've done it in the front lawn when it's weather permitting.
Of course.
We've done mommy and me yoga. We've done Pilates classes out there. We even did a big community event where we had saunas and cold plunges and then a group fitness class.
Where was I for that?
I know.
I missed that one. Okay.
So we're doing another one in April, so you can catch that one. And then we also do on the rooftop yoga, sunset yoga, early rise yoga. So that's been a favorite. So again, we're always trying to do different, actually show you what we have to offer by giving it to the community.
So listen, Equinox the brand has, it has a really sexy vibe,
Sure.
But there may be people who are intimidated by that. How do you reach them?
So one, by doing these different community events, I like to get outside of the club. So people who know friends or are in the community are able to get in touch in a kind of low stakes way. And they come in, and basically the whole idea is to make sure anyone who walks in these doors, whether themselves or they decide to inquire online and book an appointment, is the whole goal is to let them know this is for anyone and everyone if you've decided you want to commit to your fitness. Everyone does it at a different level, and that's completely acceptable.
I love that. Okay, so if I'm coming,
Yeah.
what class am I taking?
So if you're coming, I would definitely put you in the cardio dance class.
Okay.
Yes, I think that you would love that. We also have a sonic meditation that I think, start kind of high, have a great cardio class, shower, steam, eucalyptus steam room,
Right?
get ready, go back
Like
up.
eucalyptus is your scent, right?
Yes, it's our signature scent, and
Mhm.
it actually helps decrease inflammation.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, so
Okay.
specifically where we have it there. And then I'd recommend you, after you're all ready, maybe answer a few emails. I know you're a very busy woman. Head up to our yoga studio, and then you should end with our sound bath meditation class.
Okay, I'm signing up for both of those.
Gorgeous.
Thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you for hosting the show.
Of course.
It was great. Thank you. Today's conversation is a perfect snapshot of what I love about wellness and hospitality, because they really do go hand in hand. It was so great catching up with Susan Bae today. She's doing such wonderful things at Moon Rabbit, but even more so, she's doing such wonderful things for herself. She's always educating herself. She's always educating those around her. She's such an incredible leader, and all the accolades she gets, she totally deserves. And I really can't wait to see what she does next. And again, I want to thank the City Ridge Development and, of course, Equinox for hosting us here today. I think I have some classes in my future, and I cannot wait to share them with you. Don't forget, everything you heard here today you can find on the listoryouwantit.com, the online e-zine that tells you everything happening in the DMV. Of course, you want to follow me at NYCCI, NELLIS, on all the platforms. And remember, click like, click subscribe, DM me questions, or just make a comment. But stay in touch, because I love to know what you think and what you're doing as well. So enjoy out there, be safe, it's cold, and have a delicious week.
Produced by Heartcast Media.